Welcome to Reunite with Self podcast. I'm your host, Rukan. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shift in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. There is no more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and which yet no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth. And my mission is to bring you closer to that, one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rockin'. My gorgeous listener, welcome to another episode on Reunite with Self. I am so happy that you are here. If you're new here, I am Rukan, your host, and I'm just so happy that you're here. I am turning my mind into English right now, to be honest with you. In all honesty, I just recorded a very long episode on my Turkish podcast, and we're going to talk about something almost completely different here, which I'm very excited and passionate about. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. And if you want to hear this episode on a longer version, please let me know. Please DM me at my Goddesswear brand Kevela's Instagram. It's in the show notes. DM me if you want to hear more of this with like stories and the deeper why and everything. So today's topic is why forgiving or forgiveness comes last and not first. I want to tell you, every time I felt the courage, or I've had enough of something where I felt so sad, desperate, frustrated, angry, confused, helpless, whatever, about anything that was happening in my family, in my relationships, whatever, but mainly family. It doesn't happen in relationships. This happens always in family. And if you're talking about someone that you have kids with, because they become family after that, I believe, in people's eyes. So whenever I felt the courage and the, fed up in the past to share, basically to ask for support about what had happened, I would feel so icky and yucky when people would tell me to forgive the person before we even have the conversation, like the full conversation about what went down, how I truly felt, and how I truly felt. These conversations need space and silence and the gap. So you start truly expressing with realizing, with more awareness, how you truly felt. And the fact that a person who has a lot of compassion, empathy, and who is highly sensitive, if they had felt the courage to come to you, to tell you something, they've already had so much of the similar experience. Like they had it for so long, for so many times, over time, without being seen and heard truly, without even acknowledging themselves maybe for what they truly felt at the time. And if they come to you to tell you something, that is basically they're asking for support. And we can do a whole another episode on what support means in these moments. It does not necessarily mean you tell them what to do. Like 90% of the time, it doesn't require you to say anything about the actions that they can take. But that's for another episode. But if someone comes to you who has these traits, like they're highly sensitive, they're very compassionate, and they're very empathic, because if you are truly this, you're empathic when you are having a big struggle with that person anyways, like you still have empathy for them. So when someone comes to you to tell you that those moments, I was so confused when they would tell me to just forgive or, let go, whatever, like just, how can I say this? They would not tell me to ignore it directly, but they would tell me to ignore it indirectly. Because basically what they're saying is they did this thing, but they had, good intentions, or they had a difficult childhood, or that's the best that they know. Like, it's not about, like, it's never about that. It's just about someone wanting to be heard because maybe they are being abused by a person who has narcissistic tendencies. And it's important for them to speak up because while they're talking and putting things into words, they start identifying their emotions. They start, like, if you feel the freedom and the space to talk about these things, you would start seeing the patterns more quickly yourself. Like, you would come to your own solution without the other person doing anything, and just listening and just being there and just approving and confirming and validating your emotions. Like, that's it. You are not saying anything about the other person who did those did those things to them. That's not even necessary. But yeah, so the system, the family system right now, like, I'm from Turkey, and in Turkey, this is like extreme right now, but I know this is the same more or less wherever you are in the world, sometimes higher in some cultures or some family systems like dynamic circles, but sometimes it's less. Sometimes you have more space to be able to talk about what happened without the other person making you feel shame about it or any kind of guilt that you were talking about what happened and how you felt. This is really, really cuckoo to me at this point. But just the idea of forgiving someone as the first thing is not possible. It is total BS. And that's what my body was telling me every time I wanted to share something, because, like, I have a lot going on, and I feel some kind of sincerity or closeness or intimacy with the person, and the person tells me to let it go or forgive or blah, blah, blah. And this is where the system doesn't let you to have the clarity on what's happening. Because it is never about pointing the finger at someone. It's never about making someone good or bad. Like, that's never my it's never my intention or my focus or my interest whenever I'm talking about something, whether it's my own life or someone else's. Like, I have no interest to tell you if someone is good or bad, because the best person can do the worst things to you, and the worst person can do the most angelic things to you. Like, I don't care. It's not on my, like, it's not my interest. But I saw this post and I don't remember where, like, I did a screenshot, but I don't see the name of who did the post, but I resonated with this so much, so I wanted to share this with you. And this makes so much sense, because true forgiving, like true forgiveness with someone, is not like, you can't forgive someone without first going into the journey of the whole thing of, like, creating that clarity of what really happened and how you truly felt. And because we are in this sort of like toxic system, it's changing for sure. People are changing massively, but I'm just talking about the general, or why someone would have any challenge in this, is the system asks you to just diminish yourself and asks you to forgive. But that kind of forgiving is not true forgiving. Like, you don't truly forgive the person in the end. Like, it's not forgiving. It's just ignoring, neglecting, putting it under the rug, minimizing, and it creates more confusion. It's more vague. It creates more frustration. It creates more disappointment, because you still have that potentiality of that relationship. Like, you still might have the hope that they will give that thing to you that they never gave to you for, I don't know, like 40 years. It's so unhealthy, and it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous to ask someone who's empathic to forgive the other person if they haven't even gone through the journey of what really went down and how they really felt and what it really caused in their lives, like what it really caused in them for their lives, what they gave up and everything. So this post said, which I resonate so deeply with, says that this journey, if you are in this healing journey, and if you also want to forgive someone, it says that the journey begins with your willingness to heal. So you should be willing to heal, not just wanting to, but willing. So it requires vulnerability and open hearts, and, just being open to whatever it takes in terms of emotions, like going through them again. So it's willingness to heal. So you are not resistant to healing. And then, but you might have resistance to forgiveness, by the way. I'm just adding all of this myself, my own, like, how I see this myself, this journey of forgiveness. The true forgiveness, though, true forgiving, not BS forgiveness, not just like in the moment, like true forgiveness, like whole forgiveness. You should be first willing to heal, but it doesn't mean that you've like figured it all out, that you are already focused on forgiving the person, because I believe, especially in the journey of self-actualization, and if the story, includes people from your family and what went down and everything, if you are in your self-actualization journey, and this means that whatever you do in this process will be for the benefit of all that is included. When you look from a soul perspective, it will be for the benefit of all, no matter what. If you're following your heart, and if you're showing up fully for your life, and if you are in the journey of self-actualization. So you're going to shine your light, and you're going to fill your cup, and you're going to give back to community or whatever. In this moment of willingness to heal, your focus, I believe, your focus should not be on healing and mending or or saving the relationship. This is very important because I've had a conversation with someone just lately, and it was like regarding a family member. But it's very important then when you are like in the journey, throughout the journey until the very end when it comes time to forgive. But until then, I believe, even then, in the journey of self-actualization, meaning self-love in its wholeness, true self-love, fully shining bright, like really realizing that you're here to realize your full potential. You're given that energy, that light for a reason. Your whole focus should be on self-actualization. In that journey, I believe your focus should not be about if there is any narcissistic tendencies in that dynamic that was like you were abused by a narcissistic tendency person, whatever. If this is the case, the focus, the motivation should not be to save the relationship, should not be to not lose the person, should not be about forgiving the person. I'm not shaking my head. Maybe you're losing my voice a little bit, but I am so certain about this in my body in the journey of self-actualization. If you had any narcissistic abuse from family, your focus should not be about saving a relationship, should not be about forgiving the person, should not be about not losing the person from your life. I am so certain about this, like with full certainty, I'm telling you this. If there is any chance that you are going to have a somewhat healthier relationship or a healthier relationship or a good relationship with healthy boundaries, whatever, if there is any chance for this, if there is any probability that you're going to have the best relationship with them that you've never had before, your focus should not be on forgiving them. Your focus should not be about having a good relationship with them. Your focus should not be about saving that relationship. Your focus should not be about being a good family girl, woman, man. Your focus should not be about not losing that person from your life because, air quotes, family is important. Your focus should be self-actualization with no BS. This is the only way. This is the only way you can have a healthy relationship with that person if that is a possibility. If only that's a possibility, you're not going to have a good relationship with everyone in your family who has narcissistic tendencies. You're going to have, make courageous decisions about cutting off some people as well. Like you're just going to see them in, I don't know, some wedding or I don't know, like you're not going to really spend time with them again. But with others that you truly value maybe, or if there is any possibility, like let's say that's in the hand of the unknown. That's like the unknown. That's in the hands of God. That's in the hands of the universe. Like that's in the hands of your higher self. This is very powerful. And as I'm saying this, I'm having like a moment because this is very powerful. This is one of the biggest takeaways that I am having from my journey, because my dear friend, my gorgeous listener, if your focus, if there is any bit of darkness, that's a leak. And darkness seems like a good thing sometimes because of this manipulative and like this system right now. If there is any chance for you to have any healthy relationship with someone, healthy, better, good, with healthy boundaries, very healthy boundaries, you need to be in your self-actualization journey. And your focus, if your actions have any motivation behind them to be a good family person or to not to lose someone, yikes. You will have, you can still make it work. You will have adjustments. It will just be adjustment moments. You will need to do, let me adjust this, tweaks, and just making it so that it is really truly about being in integrity with your self-worth, self-love, with your heart. So, the first part is willingness to heal. And the second part is pain, where you go through all the emotions and the experiences you've had with them. And this is a lifelong journey, but a big chunk of it you really go through when you are starting your self-actualization, because you are super clear about what went down, what happened, what it caused, what you gave up, what you could have had, what you would not have if you did not have that experience, all the things. So there is a pain process, and then there is grief, and these are circular, by the way. You grieve, you go through pain, you grieve, you go through pain. But this is really the outline of you go through the pain and then you grieve what potentiality of that relationship you let go of. You let go of that. You accept that it's never going to be the repair that you wanted, the apology, the true apology, the sincere understanding, the accountability of what they did, their actions, and what they caused in you. All the things, or how they could see you or hear you or be present or acknowledge you or love you the way you would want to be loved by them, and all the things. So you grieve that, that's never going to happen. It's never going to be that way. This is what I see. You see the person as they are, as with their actions, what they have done in a pattern. And you grieve. You give that up. It's not easy, but we can do hard things. You grieve that. It's a process. It's true grieving. It's tears down your cheeks, not even sobbing, just crying, and you're just grieving. And then there is time for justice and empowerment. This is so true. And then you start taking actions because you make decisions, and then you start changing your life, and then you act just to yourself. You have justice. You act with self-love. You do all the things. You show up fully for your life. You are not shrinking yourself. You're not playing small. You get the power back. You own your own power. You're not handing it to someone else, waiting them to do whatever, see you, acknowledge you, whatever, hear you, ask for forgiveness, or be accountable, whatever. You are not giving your power away. You take the power back. You know that it's never going to happen, and it's okay. And after a while, you're actually fine. I don't want them to change. I want this to be the way it is. It's fine. This is just my power now. To whatever is happening, you become so strong. You're bring it on. Bring it on. I can handle it. Like, no matter what happens, I have now my integrity to myself. I will follow my heart now. I will not give up. I will not, choose something else outside of me instead of myself. I will choose love from now on. And then you have the empowerment. And then, of course, you go through cycles, like it's life. This is a cyclical thing, but this is truly the big journey, the main journey. And then you have like the branches of it afterwards, of course, depending on what you went through as well, for sure. And then, only then, forgiveness is possible, only after this. So willingness to heal, pain, grief, justice, empowerment. And then it says, and it's interesting because he said, if you want and necessary, like forgive if at all. You don't have to forgive. There is no must in every story. I think every story has nuances that forgiveness can look very different in every different story. It's just like, it's the soul's knowing of how it gets to be. So it's so important to understand. Forgive, it says forgive if at all. This still gives you space. This means it's not asking you to forgive as the first step, because it's not possible. It is BS. It is not possible to forgive. I mean, I don't want to begin with this, but if someone is like fanatically asking you to forgive someone even before you express what you felt, that means that person might have really high narcissistic tendencies. That's what I have seen in my life. Like, an empathic person would not insist on this. Yeah. And we are here really to choose ourselves and heal ourselves and be our like divine mother, father, best friend, everything. So forgiveness does not come first. It comes last. And that's what your body is telling you, maybe when someone asks you to diminish all that has been done and just forgive someone just because that person has, is your mom, your dad, whatever. Forgiveness is not possible if it's the first step. Forgiveness comes only last when you go through the journey. And this is actually the journey of self-actualization, because you need to have clarity and empowerment and justice for yourself and all the things. And you need to be doing all the things that you did not do all that time and waited for so long. When you are in the process of self-actualization, then things starts becoming easier. It just becomes easier. The healthy boundaries to navigate challenges, whether, you should do this or that. It's just in the process. Of course, you have challenges and everything, but it's a totally different thing. Like, you can't even compare. But in the journey of self-actualization, your focus is never about forgiving the person. It just is a result, if at all. It's your choice, of course. But it's just a result, because you are fully showing up for your life now, and you are not handing your power over to the other person. You own your power. And you can't control what other people do, but you can only control what you do, what you enable, if you are accommodating or not anymore. So that is going to be it today. If you want this episode longer than this, please let me know. Please DM me. If not, I will see you next week. I love you so much.